y'all? Farmer Dre back at it. It's another cold winter day here in Missouri. It's raining Saturday night. It's supposed to get down to 8 degrees. The winter is here, but I'm out here in the high tunnel, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys our cover crop. So towards the end of October, I went ahead and seeded a lot of different crops in here. We got spinach, we got radish, we got kale, we got lettuce, carrots, and beets. And here on our farm, these high tunnels are primarily for tomatoes. We grow tomatoes in here mainly year after year, just because that's our cash crop. We grow a lot of tomatoes, we're able to sell a lot of tomatoes. And this year, I was like, you know what? Why don't I try to grow a crop, a cover crop that we can actually enjoy and eat and harvest? So that's what I did, planted a few, and all the crops in here we're just eating for ourselves, for our family here, and we're enjoying them. But I am very surprised and I am mesmerized how easy it is to grow these crops. I legit just planted them with an earthway seeder, and that's it. Planted them, watered them, and they grow. Super easy, no fertilizer needed, no bugs, no insects, nothing, just because they're a cold season crop. The sides on the high tunnel have been open like that the entire time. I never adjusted it. We did have a few nights in the upper 20s and the lower 20s, and these crops resisted them all, have been growing very nicely, and I am very shocked to see how fast these grew. It is currently the last week of December, and we planted these about 2 months ago, so 60 days, and most of these crops here are ready to harvest. The spinach is looking nice and healthy and green and growing nicely. There's a little bit of a weed issue, but not too much. These radishes here are the crop that I really like growing, just because you pull them out of the ground there. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful radishes. Absolutely amazing and gorgeous. That kale is planted way too thick, but you know what? It still tastes good. So I get why people like growing rooted crops, just because whenever you pull it out, look at this. Look at that. Look at that beauty. It's super amazing, super awesome. Radishes taste really, really good. I love when we put them in salads, put them in tacos, all over the place. Super easy to grow, super delicious, super good. So this kale here is looking pretty good. As you can see here, it's just planted way too thick, too many seeds, but the leaves here are still pretty solid and good. I know with kale, they grow more like trees, so you gotta thin them out, but that is all right. They taste just as good. And since these are not for sale, we really don't care for them to be as perfect. And this is just leaf lettuce planted with that garden cedar, and this stuff is super tender, super good, super delicious. All you gotta do is just pick it and then you eat it, because that's how good it is. So good, so good. Right here in these beds here we have our carrots, and these haven't been growing much. Let me try pulling out here a little bit. There you go, a little bit of a carrot, but not too much. These will be ready to be harvested maybe later in the spring or early spring. But we're not going to be planting tomatoes in this tunnel until about April, so they got plenty of time to be growing, plenty of time to develop, and we're going to have a lot of carrots here. And of course, last here, these are the beets, and let me go ahead and pull one up here. They are still same as carrots. They're still growing very slowly. Not much to them yet, but on these beet rows here, there's a lot of moisture that comes in from the outside when it rains, so it's a lot more moisture. There's a lot more moisture, so there's a lot more weeds growing. But these two crops here, those probably be done later on in the year, but those 4 crops there are looking good. We do eat a lot of lettuce here on our farm, and super easy to grow, super nice. Don't do much to it. Plant it, then you eat it. So you might be thinking, yo Dre, if they're super easy to grow, why don't you guys start selling greens and start selling at farmers market? We do go to a farmers market, or there are farmers markets here in the area do go year round. In years past we were going year round, but this year I think we're done with farmers markets now until April, until strawberry season, or April or May. And you know, we're not going to be going to market. And you're probably thinking, why don't you start growing greens and go all year to the farmers market? Like I mentioned in my last video, we like to primarily focus on fruit, and if we do a year-round deal, then we don't have time to have some downtime to plan and to do certain things like that. So it's just, you got to pick your battles, and we realized, you know, we're going to specialize in just the fruit part of it, and tomatoes and the U-pick side of things, and then the rest of the crops, we are just going to let them be, plant the cover crops for ourselves, and that's about it. So for us here on our farm, this is a cover crop. It is not a cash crop. It's just we have something actively grown in the soil. Just keep that soil growing, have something for us to eat, and that's about it. We don't want to complicate things. We don't want to make things too different. But overall, like I mentioned, it is going very, very smooth, easy to grow, easy to manage, and we don't have much invested into these crops. I'm out here in high tunnel number 1 now, and this is where I have that ryegrass cover crop growing. And ryegrass, reason I planted ryegrass, it grows really fast. It helps build soil long term just because there's a lot of green matter, and we're gonna treat it like a green manure. We're just gonna till it in, incorporate it, and so far they've been growing nicely. We have a few pieces of equipment parked in here, but that is all right. We gotta get back to work and finish training those high density apples. But yeah, this cover crop is growing nice thick seed. This is the same grass I have planted in between the strawberry rows, and that's the main reason I planted and growing it, just because I know what it grows like. I know how fast it grows, and it's just here to build soil, long organic matter over time. And you know, with building soil and with building different things, it takes many years. There's no way you can get it done in 1 year. So that's why, you know, year after year we're trying to do things different. We're trying to do the same things just to build on that soil. So here in this tunnel, about second week of March, we're gonna go ahead and plant our first batch of tomatoes. So hopefully by the second week of March, this stuff is gonna continue growing and hopefully be shin high, knee high. And we're gonna go ahead and chop it up and leave it in the soil, incorporate it, and then we will plant our tomatoes in here. Alrighty, y'all, this is gonna be it for today. Just a quick little cover crop update, how the tunnels are looking. This time of year, there's not much going on. There's nothing much really growing. We've been kind of busy working on planting on the plate area. Once we cover the strawberries, there's not much going on. We've been busy training and tying those high density apples. And you guys saw from my last video, there's not much to that. It's just the same repetitive thing, tree after tree. And when you got 2,000 trees to train, it kind of gets boring after a while, but we need to get that done before too long. And there's just not much going on here on our farm. So, you know, just make sure you guys hit that notification icon so you guys can be notified whenever I do upload a video. So I'm gonna try to post more consistently, but it's kind of hard to post when you're not doing much. So it's part of farming. And that's the beauty of growing fruit or vegetables or produce, is you have your busy times of the year, and then you have your times of the year where you can take a minute back, focus, you know, plan on what you want to do, and then get ready for the next season. So if you guys are more interested in the tools that I used to plant these cover crops in here, go ahead and check the link down in the description box below, or go to farmerdresupply.com, where you guys can find all your gardening needs, fertilizer, seeds, tools, greenhouse supplies, all kinds of that stuff. Go ahead and check out the link down in the description box below. I want to say thanks for watching up to this point. You guys have a good day, and we will see you next time.